Okay, so boom. She's trying to give it no, no. Main shit.
Somebody had to just come back and re-race.
Main shit's
And then we missed weight on the next time. So we should be starting the main
How you feel? Okay, you alright? Yeah, super, man. Everything good? What's your name, bro?
Is that the guy who's fighting the one fight?
No, I don't. Maybe.
Look at it, yeah. That's the one who's fighting Flag, right? Huh? He's the one fighting Flag, isn't it? Anthony Flag. should talk to him, dude.
No, it wasn't him.
Was it him?
The guy had short hair.
No, you weren't.
No, I asked like right.
Go ahead and say that on the thing, Mike. Let people know. 5 minutes. Bring my tripod next time. Mike, get a few pictures of that stuff too. Yeah, get some pictures so you can send them to me. Got the fighters for the main event. Main card coming up here pretty soon. We're about 2 minutes out. Harrison Charlo, official weigh-ins, Toyota Arena, Ontario, California. Live. Enter the ring.
I was probably standing like, get that off, set them up and take play. That way I know what's going on.
Harrison seems to look, we saw him earlier, he looks really calm. Harrison looks, he looks like he's ready for this fight. Charlo, he looks, as usual, he looks very agitated. The fight, I mean, everybody expects a lot of fireworks. We don't anticipate any fireworks here at the official weigh-in. I know security is on staff just to make sure, but stay here live with Into the Ring. The main card fighters, the official weigh-ins are coming up here in just a moment. Got Harrison's camp over here, official belt.
All the above.
Looks like a lot of people are chiming in that pulling for Harrison. And, I've got to agree. I actually think Harrison has the advantage. I think he's got under Charlo's skin. I think Charlo's a bit emotional coming to this fight. He has a lot more to lose than Harrison at this point. And that's where mistakes are made. So this is going to say a lot right now. I mean, I want to see, how Charlo looks, how Harrison looks. Physically, this being the weigh-ins for the fight, which is tomorrow night, right here live in Ontario, California at Toyota Arena. So again, this is AJ Rage with Into the Ring. The fight's going to be live tomorrow on Fox. We are Boxing Champions. Along with TGB Promotions. So everybody who's out there, who's everybody got? Who do they like tomorrow in the big fight between Harrison and Charlo? Chime in. Who do you think is going to win this fight tomorrow? The rematch, Harrison, Charlo, live on Fox. As always, we do our best here with Into the Ring. Bring this live coverage. You never know what's going to happen, especially with Charlo. I mean, there's a lot of heat between both Harrison and Charlo in their camps. So they're two, very experienced fighters. And I know there's a lot of controversy as far as the first fight. This gives Harrison an opportunity to kind of validate that first victory with the victory over Jamel. And Jamel can win this, he puts himself right back in the mix. So there's a lot on the line for both fighters, but I think more so for Jamel Charlo. He's always been a very emotional fighter, like his brother, and I think it's gonna be quite a fight. There's some really good fights on the undercard. We talked about it earlier. Carlos Balderas, he's one that you got to keep your eye on. good young fighter, kind of a ring legend around here in Southern California in the gyms. Go to YouTube and see his sparring sessions against Teofimo Lopez. Pretty much handled Lopez. He's sparred against guys like Devin Haney and amongst others. Carlos Balderas, his brother Jose will be fighting on the card too. And then you got the big heavyweight, Epi Ajaba, that'll be fighting. I've seen him fight live a few times, and devastating puncher, Wilder type puncher. I got to keep an eye on. Got Lennox Lewis over here. Looks like we're just about ready. Yeah, I have to agree. I honestly went back and scored the fight a couple times, and I had Harrison winning. Like I said, I think Charlo overcommitted on a lot of his punches, and I think Harrison made him pay. I think if Harrison's patient, and like I said in my podcast earlier today on Mayhem in the Morning, if Harrison goes in there and fights tall and, uses that jab and makes Charlo pay for those forced punches, for those wild misses that he tends to do, it could be a long night for Jermell Charlo. But we'll see. Jermell Charlo, he's got dynamite in those hands too, He showed it in the past, so... that night when Jermell lost the title, it wasn't a real good night for either Charlo brothers. A lot of you remember Jamal. He had a tough fight against Matt Kroboff. Controversial in some senses too. So I mean, I think both fighters, both Charlo brothers, really want to get themselves back at that level that they were looked up on about a year ago. And it all starts for Jermell tomorrow night. He's got to get past Tony Harrison. A loss here, I think, would be absolutely devastating for his career. Remember, hit us up and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, Enter the Ring. We'll be live tomorrow, round by round action, right here in Ontario, California. Tony Harrison, Jermell Charlo, the rematch. Like I said, I think you're going to see that right now when Harrison comes down a bit. He looks very relaxed. Harrison's a very experienced fighter, like Charlo himself. But he doesn't seem to be carrying that chip on his shoulder right now. And I think he knows he's got under Charlo's skin without really trying. So I think you can anticipate him to turn it up even a little bit more. Hope to, kind of shake up Charlo a little bit more going into this fight. Hopefully he's going to make those mistakes. No, I agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy right here, Trey Anderson, he's got a good point. Charlo did throw more punches, but you gotta understand something. I've always questioned copy box in a lot of ways, and the thing is that if you go back and really watch the fight, a lot of the punches that Charlo was throwing, he missed a lot of punches. So a lot of them, were arm punches on Harrison or just grazing punches. He did land, I think, the more substantial, the punches with more impact. But I think Harrison was more effective, when he punched in bunches and with his counter punching. If he continues that in this fight, it could create problems for Jermell Charlo. I don't think a lot of people realize the level that Tony Harrison was, where he was at coming into this fight. I think they looked at some of his past performances, especially the 2 losses, and right away assumed, he didn't have a chin, he was going to be easy work for Charlo. But like I said, he's a slick guy. He took some big punches from Charlo, and I think he proved, he stood on his feet. So he knows he can take the punch. Of course, anything can happen. But I just think it's an interesting matchup, and it's going to be an exciting fight because neither one of these fighters, I don't see this turning into a strategic test match. I think Tony wants it to go that way, but I think Jermell wants to, invoke his aggression, and, we'll see what happens. Well, Jay's got a good point right there too. Absolutely. You want to set the traps. The bottom line is, Jermell has a tendency to he loads up almost on every punch, and that's going to take time. And in the first fight, he fatigued a little. So that's going to take precedence in this fight too. He's loading up on every punch. That's going to give Harrison some opportunity to set up some traps. And because at the end of the day, Harrison's a powerful hitter too. The guy's got pop in his punch. He's got a lot of knockouts. So, anything could happen. We really don't know at this point what kind of punch. We know Tony Harrison's been knocked out in the past. We haven't seen, Jermell in that situation where he's had to pick himself off the ground and what his response is going to be. So, it's going to say a lot if something like that happens. If Harrison's able to hurt him, drop him, we're going to see a lot as far as Charlo's heart and where he's at right now in the game. I said before, footwork is the key, So I see Tony Harrison in the back. If you look back here, you can see him. Tony Harrison's back there. Just people. One of the things you'll notice too is when you see Tony Harrison all week, he smiles, very relaxed. I think he's ready for this moment. He knows this is his moment. He knows that this is an opportunity for him to prove that first fight wasn't a fluke, that first fight wasn't controversial. That's the right demeanor coming into a fight like this. there's one of the. There's Jamal right there. Charlo. Here to support his brother, Jamal. Tommy Hearns back there. The Hitman. Original Hitman. Still looks like he could knock 2 people out. We got Jimmy Lennon up there. Looks like we're just about ready to go here. Subscribe to the radio. We're going to continue to bring you things like this. Get up and participate as much as you can. We appreciate everybody's support out there. Remember, tomorrow night, we'll be live on my own action right here. Right Arena in Ontario. Tommy Harrison, Charlo, rematch.
Ladies and gentlemen, a legend of the sport of boxing.
you really got to keep your eye on this kid right here, Carlos Balderas. Local legend, gyms, things he's done with a lot of the gyms here in Southern California. Amazing young fighter. Here's Carlos Balderas. Let me just go back and see the work this kid did against Teofimo Lopez back in the gyms. I don't know. I mean, well, there's the big kid. I mean, he's fighting at Just a complete beast. Wilder type power, 6'6". I agree there, John. Yeah, we don't know, but based on the opponents that he has fought, he has fought a couple of common opponents that Deontay Wilder's fought. He has shown that power, that one-punch knockout power. So like I said, he's still got a long ways to go, but all he could do is spice up the heavyweight division. That's Charlo. That's great. 153. Tony Superbad Harrison. Fighters are really good. Get the face off right now. Let's face off. You can see Jamel is antsy. He wants this fight. He's ready.
Easy money, and still, that boy so easy.
We're still drawing at each other. that's, pretty much it. I mean, we have the reaction of both fighters. Both fighters, like I said, to me, Jermell, still a bit agitated. You can see it in him. He's excited. He wants to get this fight where it needs to be. But at the same time, Tony Harrison, he's put a little bit of a goofy stance on it, but I think it's one of the tactics for him to stay relaxed. He's definitely gotten Jermell's head. I'm going to go ahead and get a take on my brother and how he felt what his overall take was of the sight game that's going on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my brother Mighty Mike here.
The first thing that I noticed that stuck out to me was this is a very pro-Harrison crowd.
Yes, I said
I
this.
thought for sure this is a very pro-Charlo crowd. Everybody, not everybody, Charlo crowd, Tony Harrison is having fun with this. He looks very good. He looks like he's been here 100 times before. Like this is like his 10th time before. He looks so calm, collected, and you can see there's a little nervousness in here. He just looks like he's ready to put a master but just the edge that Charlo had, both of the brothers, and just the entire camp, they're just very on edge. And, that's a recipe for disaster in boxing. You have to be clear, you have to get from bones. And at this point, from everything I've seen, Tony Harrison is very composed. He looks good. He looks really good. And I just thought it was kind of amusing. One comment Jermell said, he said, there's only two dominant people in the sport of boxing, him and his brother, and he said he's a knockout artist. Well, all you gotta do is look at his record and see he's got knockouts, but he's not exactly a knockout artist. I mean, a knockout artist to me is someone like, I don't know,
right there,
Artur Beterbiev, Deontay Wilder. Those are knockout artists. So, I mean, I get it. I don't believe he really believes that. If he does really believe that, maybe he's just not paying attention. In fact, his knockout percentage in the ratio, I don't think it's as high as Harrison's, I believe.
No.
I mean, Harrison has a higher knockout percentage, and he's fought the better guys. So far, decent crowd on here from the radio. Calderas looks good. John Brother Heavyweight looks phenomenal. That's a piece. And the guy's got that guy's tough. That guy from the Jordan, he's tough. He fights everybody, so he's going to give him a test.
Who do you think, just real quick, Mike, who do you think won the psychological game tonight between Harrison and Charlo?
Psychologically, Harrison has won this battle. He is so calm and composed to play like that. And the Charlos are characteristically very, very high-headed and they just seem very agitated all the time. Even if they're not fighting, everybody is here. Just the vibe coming off that camp is very agitated. Like I said, I don't think that's a recipe for disaster. I think we need to stay composed. It's a long fight. It's a 12-round fight. A Charlo goes up there and tries to, just go crazy and tries to knock out Harrison. And Harrison settles into the fight. He could, for lack of a better term, blow his wad and be right for the pickings. Like I said, Harrison's got a big contingent here.
Much bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, much bigger. The applause for both fighters, I mean, that's and it's just other people here that you can tell are not part of Harrison's camp, not from the Charlo down here, California Open. They're all, they just, they appreciate Harrison and how he's conducting himself, and I think they're a little bit going a little bit dirty, like the shtick of
So what do you? So real quick, Mike, before we sign off, who do you think this fight impacts more in the event of a loss? Who suffers? Who is this fight more important to right now? Obviously, Tony Harrison wants to hold on to the title.
I think at this stage, with both guys who are going to fight, but I think a loss would devastate Charlo. I mean, if you think you see a mental breakdown now, if he loses this fight again, it's a devastating fashion. I just don't know if he's got the mental strength to keep it together, I mean, I just don't. I think Tony Harrison such on that record and that phone. And I hate to say it, but there was only one Floyd Mayweather the last several decades. Prior to Mayweather, Joe Calzaghe, but some guys are defined by their record. And you can see that these guys are very much defined by their records, and if they lose that all of invincibility, I don't know if they can hit them. And that's no disrespect. That's just a mental makeup.
So real quick before we sign off, why don't you go ahead and give us your prediction on the fight for tomorrow?
You know what? That's a tough one to predict because, like I said, anything can happen in a boxing match. But I think if Tony Harrison, just like we said last week about the fight becoming a tough interview, if Tony Harrison comes out and fights this fight, boxes and moves for the first 3 to 5 rounds and just gets settled into his routine and starts getting his timing, because he hasn't been out of the ring for a year. So we have to keep that in mind that his timing is the thing he's going to have to slowly come back. But I think if he can get into the first 3 to 5 rounds and start settling in, I think he can beat Charlo. I really do. I think he can beat Charlo, comfortable decision, and maybe even late stoppage. Now, if the fight, if he's not in rhythm and he gets caught cold early, then just go the other way. Because Charlo was this guy.
Sounds good, bro. Why don't you go and sign us off?
Huh?
Go and sign us off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sign us off.
Okay, we're going to sign off right now, guys. So that was it for Tornado Arena in the city of Ontario. The lovely city of Ontario, California. We'll check back in with you guys later for actually fight night.
Fight night. Bye.